Cenote Temple of Doom Cave Incident. On August 17, 1997, Eduardo Mendez prepared for a diving trip with 5 tourists in Mexico. The tourists were 3 Americans and 2 Canadians. Eduardo was 28 years old and worked as an open water diving instructor for 3 years. By early afternoon, the group arrived at Cenote Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom was a small, dark hole in the jungle floor about 10 feet across. A wooden ladder went down 16 feet to the water surface. Rebecca Williams was a 34-year-old nurse with her husband Mark. Thomas Chen was a 42-year-old software engineer. His wife Lisa is 30-year-old. Joy Johnson was a 28-year-old teacher. Joy decided to sit out this dive because she was tired. They had single tanks, minimal lighting, and lacked proper cave diving equipment. Eduardo gave a briefing that emphasized the beauty but didn't focus on the risks. One by one, they entered the water. The cenote surface was small and surrounded by limestone walls. Sunlight barely reached into the water, creating a mysterious atmosphere. They checked their equipment and went underwater. At about 33 feet, they passed through a boundary where fresh water meets salt water. Beyond this, the cavern opened into a larger chamber. For 20 minutes, the group explored the cavern zone within sight of natural light. Then, Eduardo made a fateful decision. Rather than staying in the safe area, he led them toward a passage called the Madonna Passage. 2 warning signs marked the boundary between the cavern and the true cave zone. The first sign showed a diver with a red slash through it. The second sign said, "Stop! Prevent your death. Go no further." Eduardo swam past these warnings without stopping. His clients, trusting his judgment, followed. The Madonna Passage narrowed to about 5 feet wide and 6.5 feet high. As they went forward, the light from the entrance vanished. After 10 minutes in the passage, they were about 394 feet from the entrance. Their single tanks were running low due to depth, effort, and anxiety. Thomas Chen was the first to signal a problem with his air supply. Eduardo finally recognized the danger and signaled for the group to turn back. In the narrow passage, turning around with 5 divers created confusion. Their movement disturbed silt from the cave floor. Eduardo headed toward the exit, assuming the group was following. Rebecca and Mark Williams became separated in the sudden darkness. Thomas and Lisa Chen, staying together but equally lost, moved in another direction. When Eduardo reached the cavern zone, he realized only he had emerged from the passage. His tank was approaching empty levels. He surfaced quickly and explained the situation to Joy. Eduardo swapped his nearly empty tank for Joy's full one. Without waiting for help, he went back into the water. About 295 feet in, he found Lisa Chen with her regulator out of her mouth. Thomas's air gauge showed near empty. Eduardo immediately shared his air with Lisa and began guiding them out. Thomas followed them. Upon reaching the cavern zone, Eduardo sent the Chens to the surface. Eduardo immediately returned to search for the Williams couple. 50 feet into the passage, he found Rebecca Williams unconscious with an empty tank. He grabbed her and brought her to the surface. Eduardo continued his search and found Mark Williams. Mark was floating motionless with an empty tank. There was nothing Eduardo could do for him. Emergency services arrived.